Hello, my name is Rachel Haynes, and this week we're supposed to do a persuasive speech with an audience. So here's my audience. Okay. I would like to take just a few moments to talk to you about reestablishing physical education into our school systems. I want you to take just a few moments and remember what it was like in elementary school when you have been sitting at your desk for what felt like to be hours on end with no break at all. And all of a sudden, in comes the coach busting through the door to take you to PE. Do you remember how excited you got? Because you knew you were going to get to run around and play and just have a good time with your friends. But now imagine if you never felt that. Imagine you never got that rush of hearing the words dodgeball or kickball, or my personal favorite was the parachutes. PE has been cut from lots of different school programs around the country, especially in Georgia. Budget cuts have always plagued the school systems, but in the past 15 years, they've hit really, really hard. Schools are being put under more and more pressures to do better and better scores on standardized testing, but yet they're not getting any other kind of funding to go with it. There was lots of studies that have pointed to a policy known as No Child Left Behind, started around 2001 year. And what this policy states is that if a child does not meet a certain score on standardized testings, it is then up to the school system itself to figure out what they can do to help this child reach this new magical number for the score. Problem with it is that the government doesn't give the schools any extra money to get there. The school is shelling out more and more money for more teachers, more classroom resources, things like this, but the federal government has actually said you should be able to do that, and in fact we're going to give you less money to do it in. If you're a school system and you have to make these kind of cuts, what's the first thing that's going to go is your non-essential programs. These are going to be like your physical educations and also, band, economics, home economics, things like this. Before the No Child Left Behind policy went into effect, at any given time, a child typically had between 60 to 90 minutes of physical education a day, whether it be a combination of PE, recess, that kind of a thing. About 60 to 90 minutes a day. In today's time, they're lucky if they can get anywhere from 10 minutes to 30 minutes. There are lots of schools around here in Georgia that don't have any recess time at all. Imagine being 6 or 7 years old, you have sat at your desk for several hours and there's nothing else to do but just keep sitting there. I can't imagine doing it as an adult, much less as a child. While the physical education time has decreased, childhood obesity has increased. According to the CDC in 2010, this is in the state of Georgia, of all the third graders in Georgia, 43% were considered to be overweight. Of the 43% that are overweight, 24% was thought to be obese. For middle schoolers for Georgia, that rate was 34% for overweight and 15% for being obese. And just to kind of put these figures into perspective, childhood obesity has almost tripled in the past 18 years. In 1991, Georgia had an overweight percentage of 9.2% across the state. In 1999, that rate shot up to 20.7%. So just in that little bit of time, in 8 years, it went up almost 10%. Overweight children and obese children, they're not just out of shape. There are other medical issues going on with them. An example is going to be diabetes type 2. This was considered the old person's disease or medical issue. You very rarely did see type 2 in children. But nowadays, with the obesity level going up, so has the diabetic rate in children has also increased. According to the federal government in 1988 to 1994, children between the ages of 6 to 11, there were about 10% of them had type 2 diabetes. And that's nationwide. But when you compare that to the rate in 2008, when 6 to 11-year-olds with type 2 diabetes was just over 19%. And some people may say, well, 19% is not that big of a deal, but it is. This is hundreds of thousands of children have developed type 2 diabetes, which was rarely seen in children to begin with. Some other health concerns that these children are having is high blood pressure, elevated heart rate. Sometimes they have difficulty breathing. And then each of these medical problems can lead to other medical problems. Any kind of medical problem an overweight adult has, a child can experience the same things. But what's really scary is that an overweight child has a 70 to 80% chance of becoming an overweight adult. Now, I am certainly not saying that childhood obesity has been caused because PE has been taken out of the curriculum. I am not saying that, but what I am saying is there is a correlation between the two. Let's just talk about a couple of ways where we might can fix part of the problem. Easiest solution is going to be for the government to take out their checkbook and write a check. Probably not going to happen, though. It's just not. But there is something here in the state of Georgia. When the Georgia lottery was passed, there was a policy put in where the funding from the lottery would go to do technology, like computers, desks, tables, things like that. Why can't we put in a policy where we take 1%, just 1% of that to help pay for physical education? According to the Georgia Lottery website, in just 2015 alone, the lottery gave $980 million to the education account. If we could just take 1%, just 1%, that would be just under $10 million. We should be able to put some kind of educational program in effect for that, for the state of Georgia. Another possibility would be to have the insurance companies help out. And I know what you're thinking, insurance companies, how in the world are we supposed to get the insurance companies to help? Well, a child who does not have diabetes, just your every average healthy child, their health care runs about $1,400 a year. When you compare that to a child who's got diabetes, they run just over $9,000 a year. That's right at a $7,600 difference between the two. Now, that can save the insurance companies some money as well. And also keep in mind that we said earlier that if a child is overweight when they're young, there is a 70 to 80% chance that they will be overweight when they reach adulthood. And adults cost the insurance company billions of dollars a year because of diabetes alone. That doesn't include any other complications and things that go along with it. According to the American Diabetes Association's website, in 2013, the average cost of the adults in the United States for insurance for just their diabetes was $245 billion. If we could start reducing the number of childhood obese cases, maybe we could start decreasing the number of adults that have it. Or maybe they won't have it for as many years as they are now. What I find to be just absolutely so ironic is that if you look at the Georgia's government's page, if you look at the federal government's page, or if you even look at the health department's page, they'll tell you on there that each child needs to have a minimum of 1 hour of physical activity a day. But yet they refuse to put that into a policy for our education. They won't make it mandatory, but yet they will arrest somebody for driving a lawnmower drunk. In conclusion, there are no quick fixes. There's no easy answer to this. There's no crystal ball to look into, or even a 900 number to reach a psychic to get a sure enough answer. But we better start coming up with something quickly. The childhood obesity rate is not going away. It's not going down anytime soon. and PE doesn't look like it will be back soon either. Thank you.